Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you too.
Thanks for coming on. Thanksgiving, exciting for you? Not exciting? Do you have a big family gathering?
No, not exciting. Not exciting. No.
No, not exciting.
No. So I come from a family of vegetarians and vegans, and yeah. I mean, all due respect, and yeah.
yeah. So
So no, we do a Thanksgiving, which is which is like a pun, which is not fun in and of itself, but also when it applies to a vegan Thanksgiving. And so,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
what happens at Thanksgiving?
We buy a turkey, which is essentially saving a turkey, and we put that picture of the turkey, on the table instead of a turkey food, And it says little things like, oh, it's Bagel, and he likes to run around, and and stuff like that. And so anyway, then we don't eat turkey, but we do feel the guilt of it anyway.
Yeah. You see, you're looking at Bagel the whole evening.
Yeah, exactly.
And talking about how he likes to run around.
Yes.
And
then,
other activities the turkey does.
It gets worse. Yeah. So my sister will read from this book, Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you've read this book, but it's basically, it takes you through the factory farming process.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there eating asparagus. I've already committed to what you've wanted. Yeah.
What foods do you eat besides asparagus?
They make loaves. Loaves. Everything goes into a loaf. You have lentil loaf. Loaves.
Lentil loaf.
Lentil loaf.
Oh,
lentil
like a non-meat loaf.
That's it. Sweet potato loaf. Anything that you probably don't want to eat, they turn into a loaf, and then we have to sit there and eat it. Yeah.
Loafsgiving, yeah. Oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. All right. Well, that's good. Do you cook at all?
No, I don't cook. Which is probably, why I wound up going to a Thanksgiving every year, because I should be taking control of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is good.
Yeah.
I think you'll have a fun time. I want to talk about Fleischman is in Trouble.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You are Fleischman.
Yeah, that's right.
It's great. It's smart. It's funny. It's very New York. You and Claire Danes.
Yeah.
Who I love. Have you ever worked with Claire?
No. I mean, it was amazing. I did meet her once. I met her probably like 15 years ago. She has no recollection of it, which is the impression I normally make on people, but especially in this case.
Where did you meet Claire Danes?
So my wife had to go to some benefit, and I was with her, and I had to go with her, and I just got really high because I knew it was going to be boring, and then I got separated from her there, and I wound up talking to this woman, and we had gone to the same high school, and she said she was an actress, and she went to Yale, and I was just thinking, my God, this is like the coolest person I've ever met in my life, and I told her that, and then I walked over to my wife, and I said, honey, I think I just met my soulmate. I met this amazing woman. And I pointed to the woman who I wanted to be my soulmate. And Anna, my wife, she said, that's Claire Danes, you idiot. Good luck. Yeah.
Were you married to your wife?
I wasn't married to her, but things were going well.
You were dating her at the time?
I was dating her, yeah. We did, a dry run.
Now you're happily married. Yeah. And all these years later, here you are working with Claire Danes.
Yeah, but she had no recollection of the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. For this series, you told me backstage that there was something they asked you to do you were a little apprehensive about.
Yes.
Can we talk about it? I think it'll be good to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm apprehensive about most things, but in particular, they wanted me to be naked in this. They wanted me to be naked. Not my front. You all know everybody knows what the difference is. Yeah.
Sure.
And so, but my back. And I'm not a very comfortable person naked,
No.
No, I mean, I would shower in a bathing suit if it meant, if it wasn't unsanitary.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
just,
of course.
Just so I don't have to see anything, you know what I mean? And I also have, the same body for the last, really, 30 years. I've had the same body.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, they wanted me to be...
You're not parading around saying, hey, this is the way I live.
3 more jokes about my body. No, sorry. No. Yeah, so anyway, they wanted me to be naked, and I was mortified, and I thought, okay, well, they asked me so nicely, and I thought, okay, well, let me call my wife, because she'll say no, and then I could say, my wife said no. But so I called my wife, and she said, well, is the woman in the scene naked? And I said, yes. And she said, well, then obviously you have to be naked. I was like, I was calling you because I thought you would say no.
You're my excuse after this.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, she had already hung up. So anyway, so I was naked in the show. I was, deeply shameful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it change anything for you? Did it feel like, wow, I don't know.
No. I didn't feel like, oh, I conquered anything.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I meant to say, yeah.
It was more like, oh, I just did this thing that I'm embarrassed by, but then when it comes out, I'm going to be doubly embarrassed by it, you know.
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, at Thanksgiving, do you not bring it up the show? Or?
I told my parents that there was no premiere in New York. I said I think they're just going to go to air with this one.
Going to go straight to Hulu on this one. Yeah,
I don't
no
think
premiere.
you have Hulu, and then I'm going to disable it on their TV.
Oh my God.
They're not going to know.
Can we set up what Fleischman is in Trouble is about? It's a great novel, by the way. It's a good read as well.
Yes. It's by, I guess you're a fan of Taffy Brodesser-Akner, the writer. She's a genius.
I love her. She's so great and funny and smart, and it's a great book.
And more importantly, you're in the show. You're in Fleischman is in Trouble.
I do full frontal nudity in this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it at first, but I called my wife. She
was
said,
like, is Jesse doing back?
Is Jesse doing back? It's got to be fair. Exactly.
You got to see both sides of what a man looks like.
Of course you do, yeah. I'm not sure if people will understand when they see my front, but it's all right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very
probably
confusing.
think it's my back. But anyway, so the show is about this couple going...
You say my front looks like your back?
I'm just...
That's very funny.
Oh, thanks.
That's very, very funny. How do we set up the show? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, the show is, about this... Oh, it's not true.
No.
No, the show is about like a couple divorcing. They're going through like a bad divorce. And then she drops the kids off with me and disappears. And no one knows where she is.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I want to show a clip here.
Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg and Claire Danes in Fleischman is in Trouble. Take a look at this.
No, actually, I'm just asking a question, Toby. It's an honest question.
Can I get Instagram? Everyone has it.
No, we've answered this before. No social media until you're 13.
Everyone.
Hannah, you don't even have a phone. It's not good for kids and anxiety. Your brain is still developing, all right?
Dad and I'll talk about it.
Excuse me, we've already talked about it, okay?
How about my anxiety that everybody is always on it and leaving me out?
She has a point.
Yeah?
You're an animal.
Yeah. Throwing raw chicken.
Yeah, raw chicken.
Jesse Eisenberg, everybody. Check out Fleischman is in Trouble. It's great. Right now on Hulu. Madeline Klein joins us after the break. Stick around, everybody. Hey, hey.